My name is William, and I've been thinking for very many years that I should most likely make a YouTube channel about philosophy. I'm a big fan of philosophy. I spend a lot of time thinking. Fortunately, I haven't done that yet because, well, I really don't like to be seen or anything. But I decided to do it anyway. Um, It's mostly because it's a new decennia, and I've been thinking for the past 2 decennia that I should be doing this, and I'm seriously not doing it before, so, well, you know. As for the subject today, I thought I would pick the subject that we happened upon last night, New Year's Eve. It was after we had been out and celebrated the New Year. We went indoors and we're going to play a game, one of those board games, and there was this card with numbers, and my friend who were we were setting the pieces up and stuff. My friend pointed out, "Oh, zero is not a number," he said. But I beg to differ at once, because I said, well, zero is a number, it's one who is not a number, one is always a concept. And well, he was a bit drunk and I was most likely a little bit tipsy too, so we didn't make much sense, and I got the feeling I never really got across what I was trying to explain. So I thought I would try to explain it a bit better today. Basically. And well, zero is always the sign that it's zero of something. We're gonna start there. The number zero, it literally means that it has nothing of a certain quantity. Because even if you say, oh, there's 0 apples in my hand, well, you've said apple, which means that you've talked about apples. And 0 always symbolizes the lack of something or the times of something. Like if you go for 10, the 0 symbolizes that there are 10 out of that same thing. So 0 is very much a number that is a very strong concept, but usually it symbolizes when it's only the 1 0 and nothing around it. It's always the concept of the lack of something. Well, one is always the concept of one. The number 1 is never the same. You can say 1 apple and another apple and another apple, but if you look at apples, they will always be a bit different compared to each other. Let's call it different molecule structures or different colors or different mass. One is never equal to another, which means that one is always the concept that it is one. I'm going to make this a little bit easier to illustrate with a card deck. That's one card. That is one card. You have 2 cards. They may look the same, but they are different. They will always be the different. They will never be equal, even if they look pretty much exactly the same. And it's basically the same with whatever you may ever think about counting and calculating the numbers of. Even if you're counting electrons, I mean, they are really, really tiny. They may be attached to something, they may have been somewhere, and they may be going somewhere. And depending on what voltage and what charge and what speed it's moving at, one electron will never be equal to another. Therefore, one is always the concept that a human make. It's the same if you count humans, by the way. I mean, one human can never be equal to another. I mean, philosophically, they can, but they will never be the same. I mean, your mom is never the same thing as your dad, or your sister, or your brother, or your partner. Maybe they have the same worth. Maybe you like them exactly the same amount, but they are not the same person. And they will never be the same person. Because one concept, and the word human is a concept that this is a human. A human is someone who walks on their hind legs and well, then you have people who are not able to walk in wheelchairs. They are still humans, of course. So whatever you make the concept is just the concept that something is equal or equivalent to something else. But they will never be the same. And that's why 0 is a number. 0 is the lack of showing that something is missing. It's 0 of something. It's the lack of something. And 1 is something. And 2 is something. And something that is almost exactly the same because you're counting kind of that thing. I find it very interesting and very curious. And the same goes with the number 3. It's the number. It says that there are 3 of something that looks kind of the same. Like 3 cards in the card deck, or 3 human beings. But they are never equivalent to each other. And I guess that's what Scrooge McDuck actually were talking about when he had his lucky dollar. Because that is something a human being can understand. I mean, there are billions and billions of dollars in this world, but only one lucky dollar that makes Scrooge McDuck have luck in all his investments. And that's because $1 is never equal to another dollar. I mean, they totally are, but they are made out of different stuff. And they have different memories related to where you bought them and stuff. And that's something that Scrooge McDuck in DuckTales makes a lot of work and noise from. And I think that is something to consider, truly consider, when you're out there and counting things. Maybe counting the children that work at the school, your school, counting them. Or you're calculating something, trying to make a future for yourself, trying to figure out where you're going into the future, what schools, what colleges. Truly think about that, because one school is not equal to another school. One college is not equal to another college. Every single choice you make can make a huge difference depending either you choose to walk on the right side of the road or the left side of the road. I mean, one side might get you thrown over by a car, another won't. Especially if there's a sidewalk on one side and not on the other. But I think you get the point that there are a lot of things and options that you are put into daily that seems completely the same. But they are not the same. They will never be the same. They can never be the same. And that's because 1 is never equal to 1. And that is something to remember.